through a very important topic. It's one of the most fundamental things in Call of Duty, and I thought, why not make a whole video just kind of designated towards it. No matter what level you are, I think these tips will help you guys improve. So we're going to go through basically how to control your recoil and how to improve your shots. So right now we're in a training lobby, a private match, whatever you want to call it, and we're going to be going through some of the fundamentals, okay? So before we do anything, we're going to start with the basics. Now, if some of you guys are used to everything and you're a bit more advanced, these will still apply to you because sometimes there's small tips and tricks you may miss, or sometimes you might just need a reminder, okay? So we're gonna start off with the basics for people that maybe are unaware. What is recoil control, and just generally what is the whole idea behind controlling your shot, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at this wall right here, and what we're gonna do is a simple thing. We're literally gonna stand still and we're gonna aim in, and then we're just gonna shoot, okay? While I'm shooting, I'm not controlling anything. We're simply just shooting, and you can see our weapon is going higher and higher and higher, okay? So this is your natural recoil pattern. So if I was to shoot a player like this and just shoot, you see how it's going higher, right? Let me back away. So you see how it's going higher. So what happens is if you spot an opponent and you just shoot your weapon, it will basically go higher and higher and higher. That's the general curve. Now, before we get into the recoil control, which is fairly easy, one thing I will say is something that I like to do personally is just to make it even easier for you guys is when you're shooting, okay? Let's say someone's right there. You know, I'm gonna go find someone, make it a little bit easier. I don't know why the bot's not coming towards me, just ruining my demonstration. It's all good. So let's say I see this opponent, okay? Instead of shooting and shooting and shooting, let's say I was to miss the bullets, what I would do is I would just shoot as many as required. So right there, I would shoot and stop, shoot and stop. And what you're gonna realize is the weapon actually bounces back to the middle. It actually controls itself. Let me show you what I mean. So right now, you see how we're going through? So we're going across, we're going across. As I shoot, you see how I stop? I'm not using my right stick here. I'm not controlling anything with my right stick. I'm simply shooting and stopping. Shooting and stopping. Are you noticing how the gun's not really moving? So look at the difference. This is just from fully auto. That's without kind of stopping. And this is with me just stopping. That's it. I'm not actually moving my right stick, which is crazy. I'm moving it initially, and then are you seeing how it's bouncing up and down? So what that is, it's called the tap fire, okay? It's something that Dashi does really well, and basically what you sometimes want to do is you don't want to just shoot your whole weapon at once, because what happens is after a certain amount of bullets, as you're seeing right now, after a certain amount of bullets, it gets actually less predictable. Can you see it goes right slightly? What happens is the natural recoil pattern starts to kind of change a little bit. So for the first few bullets, it's quite steady. So let's just say right now we're on 30 bullets, right? Let's just aim to shoot maybe 4 at a time. And I want you to look at the recoil pattern. So you see how it's not really changing? That's the key thing there. You want to make sure when you're shooting, you're doing a recoil pattern that you're comfortable with, so that no matter what happens when you're aiming down sight, you're basically always able to control the recoil. So I go around the corner, shoot a few bullets, stop, shoot a few bullets, stop. Even if you stop for a second and kind of line up the rest of your shot, it will make it easier. So sometimes even if you're shooting less bullets, you're more likely to hit them. There's so many times I watch people or I'm coaching them and they're like, you know, they shoot 30 bullets and maybe get 1 kill. I'm like, think about it, right? You are in a situation where it takes 5 bullets to kill someone. If it's taking you more than that, that means you're missing your shots. So we need to address that. Now, there are certain times where you're going to shoot and you're going to want to pre-fire someone, or you want to kind of expect them, or you're kind of doing like stuff like that. What I did right there, I kind of did a little crack aim, little pre-fire, stuff like that. So it's perfectly acceptable sometimes to shoot more than required, right? It just depends on the situation. But I want you guys to get comfortable with that. I want you to get comfortable with sometimes shooting less bullets, sometimes shooting more, depending on the situation. Like right now I'm going through, so I spot the opponent and on the left, I'm gonna hold the angle, I'm gonna pre-fire the head glitch, and then you see we go through it and we tap fire. Why? Because it's easier for me to get those headshots when I'm tap firing. But in this situation, I'm going to go around the corner and I'm a fully auto. So it's about having that balance. Right there, I'm going to tap fire to get the cleaner shots. So let's just say you're at distance. I prefer going for that tap fire just to hit those certain shots. Sometimes someone's on a head glitch, like right now I go through. You see we line up our shot. It's nice and simple, okay? It just makes it easier right there. I'll fully auto because we're up close and personal. I don't really have time to mess around. So when you have a bit of range, you're like, okay, I can hit 1 or 2 shots, go for it. Sometimes separating your gunfight is all you need to do. So right now, as per example, we go around the corner. We see, where is he? Okay, I can't really see him. We go through, we make him weak, and then we go for the chow. Sometimes you can separate your gunfights, okay? It's a really big thing I don't see a lot of people doing. It just allows you to be more in control. The next thing, which is the most basic thing, but the most important, is basically doing the opposite of your recoil. So as your recoil goes up right now, all we're going to do is with our right stick, we're going to do the opposite. So as our shot goes through, we're going to move it down. That's it. We're moving it down to compensate, to basically do the opposite effect of the recoil pattern, okay? So now when you're going through, instead of just shooting like I was showing you and it goes up naturally, yes, you can still get kills if they're kind of walking in a straight line or they're not the best, but you want to kind of, you know, have your recoil looking good. So what you want to do is as you go around the corner, as you shoot, move it down. Now you can see the gun is really not moving. It's really not moving. Why? Because as I'm shooting, I'm moving my right stick down. So basically I'm went from, oh, let me back away. So I went from this. I really need to put more ammo on. I don't know why I do this. Let me quickly get my ammunition box. There you go. So if you guys aren't controlling your recoil, you're going to go from this. You're going to go from like, say someone's, where is he? Right there. You see how it's going higher? So when you're shooting, you're missing a lot of bullets. You see it's going higher, you're missing a lot of bullets. So what you want to do instead is as you shoot, move your right stick down. As you shoot, move your right stick down. The next thing we're going to work on is our centering, okay? What is centering? Why is it important? Let's just find these opponents on the other side, okay? What your centering is essentially your crosshair placement. So right now, if I was to go around the corner with bad centering, it'll be like this. As I see the opponent, can you see that? I have to, let me find a better example. If you have bad centering, what happens is as you go around the corner, you have to adjust your aim and then you have to shoot your opponent. So right there's a perfect example of my opponent being ready for the gunfight. So a lot of people have centering like this. They kind of go around like this. Now it doesn't look terrible, right? But then you're like, oh, wait a minute. If I was to stop and aim in, I'm expecting the enemy to be there, where realistically the enemy is going to be around there. So instead of aiming and kind of running low like this, which is a lot of people do, they run really low. Instead, now look, when I aim in, I then have to adjust my aim, right? You don't want to adjust your aim. You want it to be as close as possible to the target without having to adjust it. The adjustments should be micro adjustments. They should just be small ones based on where you're centering. So right now we're going to try to have good centering. So you can see, okay, I get stunned. So you see, as we go around the corner, you see my centering, I aim in and I'm ready. So that's how better centering can be, okay? So if you guys are stuck with your centering, just simply go around doing this. Just practice it. If you guys have never really worked on it, just go around and walk around and practice your crosshair placement. That's it. Nice and simple. Don't overcomplicate it, okay? Go through. You see, we're not doing anything crazy. We're running now. I'm like, where could they be? I'm going to jump up. I'm going to center. There's one. I'm going to center. Aim in. Okay, cool. Go around the corner, center. That's it. Just work on your basic centering. Now, once you've done that for a little bit, you're like, okay, I feel like that's a little bit simple. I'm kind of ready for it. Now I want you to add movement. So for the first drill, we want to slide cancel. It's really important. As we go around the corner, there's an opponent right there, okay? Instead of doing this, slide canceling, then a hard right, what I want to do is this. You see this? Look at the difference. The player's there. Instead of doing this and then looking right, you see how he's about to kill me? That's because he's ready for it. But instead if I did this, you see the difference? Let's watch it from the enemy's POV. So you can see as I come around the corner, can you see how I'm basically already shooting? I'm literally slide canceling round the corner, already shooting, and that's how you're losing so many gunfights. When you guys are playing and you're getting cameraed, it's because of that. It's because the better players are doing this. They're slide canceling round the corner, slide canceling round the corner. On your screen, it doesn't look like that. It doesn't look insane, but on their screen, as you go around the corner, I'm gonna show you now. Hopefully you can see the kill cam. I don't think it's going to show it. It's all good. But yeah, basically, let's say someone's right there. Instead of sliding then left, no, that's not what we want to do. We want to slide cancel into a shot. Because as you slide cancel around that corner, you're going to camera them. You're going to see them a second before they see you, and you can start to get your shot off. That's why it's so important to get the centering right. Because we slide cancel around the corner, your centering has to be perfect so that you get those shots off. There's a guy right there. You go through. So right now I'm going across, slide cancel, going for the shots, okay? Make sure you guys work on your centering and your slide cancelling, and then you can combine them together. So as I go through, my centering's better, my slide cancelling's better, and I'm just getting practice with it, okay? I keep getting shot by the bot, but we're going to move on. The next thing I want you guys to do now, you're a bit more familiar. So your slide cancelling, your centering, you're making sure you're more ready for gunfights, is now to use the map around you. Use the map, okay? So what I mean by that is, in this situation, if I was playing a rank play game, the first thing I would center would be this head glitch. Why? Because I expect them to be there. Sorry, the second thing. The first thing I would do is shoulder, because I expect them to be on that head glitch. So it's about anticipating with the map. So right now, as I go through, I'm going to slide cancel. I'm expecting them to be where? Around this area. Now, before I enter this room, this is really important. I expect them to be around this area there. Okay, so I get the first kill. Before I enter that, I'm going to shoulder the right. Why? Because there's no point focusing on this area if I haven't checked bottom blue. So this is how to kind of increase your map awareness while practicing with bots. Right now we're on high rise, so we're able to do this on high rise, but generally wherever map you play, I recommend going through the CDL rotation and just trying the different maps to get used to like spots and head glitches and stuff like that. So again, we go through, as I go up top here, I'm like, right, I expect someone to be here, so I'm centering where it needs to be. Look where my crosshair is. As they come out that door, I'm ready for the gunfight. So you're seeing how we're lining up our shot. We're now controlling our recoil with the right stick. We're now centering and anticipating enemies. It's all these basic things that we need to do. Okay, so far we've gone through quite a bit. Now there's so many of you guys watching that look off, I do all this and honestly I don't know what it is, my recoil just doesn't work. It's not like yours. Okay, there's people that literally have said to me that their recoil control doesn't work, and I'm like, okay, cool, let's just give you the benefit of the doubt. I don't believe that's a thing, because it's not a thing, but let's just say, okay, you know what, for whatever reason your controller doesn't let you do this. There's a few things that can help you out that you're simply not doing. Okay, when I explain to people about moving the right stick down, they're like, yeah, no, we know, we do that. But in an actual gunfight, they'll forget and they'll start shooting like this. And that's where the issue happens, okay? Knowing something and applying it are two separate things. Understanding the recoil pattern is great, very important, but applying it is where the skill takes place, okay? And the reason I know this is because I do the same thing. There are times where I go into a gunfight, even in Crimson, and I sometimes not forget, but I sometimes don't prioritize the recoil control in those close range gunfights because I'm so focused on like, oh, my enemy's dead, let me go for the kill. I forget to kind of move my right stick down. So I know it's definitely possible. I know it's very, very easy to do as well, okay? So don't kind of get disheartened if that's you. If you feel like when you play, you just can't control your recoil. Someone's on a head glitch, you just can't take them off, okay? So we're going to go through now the final steps of controlling it and what to do. We're actually going to get a rival out just to show you it works on basically any weapon you do. So what we want to do now is we want to activate our aim assist. So I have plenty of videos on this, but what we want to do is we want to activate our rotational aim assist and we want to strafe. So right now, in a gunfight, not only do I want to move my right stick down, I don't want to heavily rely on my right stick for aiming. We're doing a lot with the right stick, right? We're using it for our centering. So right now, as I go around the corner, we're centering and then we're shooting. Our right stick right now is responsible for all of our centering. So as you're going around the map, you want to move your right stick with you. What you don't want to do is this. You don't want to move around the map and then move your right stick. Move around the map, then move your right stick. You see how it's very stiff? You don't feel very mobile. That's because it's just like, it's very one-dimensional. This is kind of how I feel when I play keyboard and mouse for the first time because I don't really play it ever. So it's like, I feel really slow. So if you guys are kind of new to the game or a bit slow on a new input or whatever the reason may be, go to the private game and keep practicing so you can get your movement nice and smooth. But what you don't want to do is, I see an opponent right there. I want to jump off. I don't want to jump off and then look right. No, you want to be like, okay, as I'm jumping, I'm also shooting them. You see the difference? As I'm jumping, I'm shooting them. As I'm jumping, I'm crosshair placement to the left, get some shots off, back away. You want to use your crosshair and your left stick together. You want to use your right stick and your left stick together as if they're a team, not as if they're doing opposite things, okay? The next thing, like I said from earlier, is going to be aim assist. So in this situation, if you're just using your right stick, what happens is, again, most of the time people know this, but when you're strafing in gunfights, when you're moving your left stick, let me slow down. When you move your left stick, you get something called rotational aim assist. When you don't move your left stick, if you just use your right stick, it's a lot less sticky and you're kind of just aiming at the player like this. You see how it's kind of all over the place? It's a lot harder. So what happens is people do this. They see someone and they start using their right stick. Now you can control with your right stick, but it's definitely not as smooth as your left stick. You can control, look at this. Like you see how even from there with a rival, I'm able to beam him. You can control it. But there's two factors. One, it's easier when your opponents aren't really moving that much. So it's quite easy. Right now they're walking in a straight line. So it's fairly simple. But when they start going left to right or jumping, or as you go to those advanced lobbies, it gets really, really difficult. So we're not trying to kind of rely on that. We're not trying to rely on the right stick only. So what you want to do is anytime you see someone, you want to move your left stick in a certain direction. Okay, me personally, I like to personally strafe left and right because some people ask me, oh, can I just strafe right? But the issue is this, let's say someone's right there, okay? If I just strafe right all the time, you're always one, predictable, and two, what happens right now? Like as I go past this pillar, I then have to go left again. So it's kind of one of those things where strafing one way is always going to be weird because you're kind of just always going to go out in the open. Like right now, let's say I was to strafe here left and right. You see how I'm strafing between cover? It works out. If I was to strafe left, I'm now out in the open. So I don't recommend strafing one way because you're always going to just eventually be out of cover. Right now, if I strafe left, I can't see them anymore. So what you want to do is strafe between the cover. So whatever piece of cover you're on, you want to strafe between that. So right now we go through, you see we go across. I'm like, right, if I go on this head glitch real quick, I'm going to strafe between this, go across. Where am I? Go between this, strafe between this. You want to strafe between what you have so that you're always behind cover and maximizing your chance of winning the gunfight, okay? Really, really important. If you don't strafe, what happens is, like I said, you're relying on your right stick. Yes, it can work, but against better players, it's really going to cost you. Right now, I go through. If I just have to rely on my right stick, you see it's all over the place, right? It makes it really difficult. If I go through, left stick, a lot easier. Left stick, a lot easier. So what are we doing? We're applying our centering from earlier. We're applying our left stick from earlier. And now our right stick. So you can just see as I'm going around corners, I'm ready for the gunfights. Including some slide cancelling, you're going to be able to camera people. So if you guys are less than, I would say, diamond rank, and you're not doing this, then this is something I want you to work on immediately. If you're diamond, you probably do this anyways, but again, it's always good to get a reassurance and see what to kind of go with. The next thing is going to be applying this. The amount of times, honestly, this is probably the most common thing, that when I'm coaching someone, they're like, oh, I know exactly what you're talking about, the strafe, I got you. And then we'll have some gunfights and I'll show them that they don't apply it. They think about it, they're like, yep, strafing. But in the gunfight, they do this. They're locked in. Then as they aim in and shoot, they stop strafing. Why? Because it's like a muscle memory thing. It takes time because you're doing two things at once. You're going left and right. As you're moving your right stick down, it can be complicated at the start, okay? So don't worry if it's something you struggle with. It all comes down to practice. And that's kind of it. That's the main kind of step to controlling your recoil. Just generally, I would say, like, one thing I say is, like, when I practice, like when I shoot bots, honestly, I didn't even realize I shot 100 bots right now, but when I shoot bots, it's night and day different. So I know some of you watching this, I can guarantee that some of you watching this that do not shoot bots. If you can really just go through what I went right now and just apply it to your game by shooting bots and practicing certain things, I literally just, like, in my head, I'm like, all right, it's really weird. Don't judge me, but like right now, I'm gonna play like a BZ. So what does a BZ do? He does jump shots every time for me. So I'm gonna play like a BZ right now. Jump shot. Jump shot. As I jump shot. That's what I'll be in my head. I'm gonna play like a BZ. Now I want to play like Dashi. Dashi does a hip. Dashi does the what's it called? The burst fire quite a lot, so I'm gonna play like Dashi. I don't want to miss my shot. Dashi, play like Dashi, better accuracy, okay, longer range, and I just kind of give myself little feedback loops. Normally, honestly, I'm literally like, bro, I'll be having like Netflix on, I'll be watching like Brooklyn Nine-Nine or something, some Modern Family, and I'm just shooting bots before I stream. If I can, if I got some time, I'll shoot like 200 bots and just kind of get on with it, because I know that it just gives me that repetition. You feel more warm. Like, I haven't played today as well, so right now I'm like, you know what, if I can shoot some bots, maybe I hop on stream, it'll be a lot easier. And just try different things. Like, you know what? How does it work if I was to drop shot and then jump up? Like, let's try it. Drop shot. Okay, I can't jump up. Cool. Let's try something else. What if I do this? What if I do the drop shot into a sprint jump? I'll tell you what, I want to see how that looks. Oh, I don't have anyone online right now. What can I do? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the bot, and these are all things I used to do. So I'm going to go to the bot. I'm going to try something. I'm going to try the drop shot into the jump. Now, I let the bot kill me. Let's see how it looks on their screen. So this is how I look. So I'm focusing on how I look now. I'm focusing on how I look. Okay, so it doesn't look bad, but it's a bit of a slow animation, you see? So it's like, right, After's cameraing is really good, but I don't know if I'm doing it right. No one's online. What do? I'll tell you what. I'm going to slide cancel around this corner, and I'm going to let the bot kill me. So just wait for a bot to see me. So I'm going to go through. I'll go across. Okay, now I'm right here. I'm going to slide cancel around the corner. So where's the bot? So again, just kind of play around. Like, okay, I'm going to slide cancel around the corner and let the bot kill me. Let's see how I looked. So unfortunately, the other bot killed me, so I wasn't able to see his POV, but we can still kind of see how it looks. So you can see, okay, so the slide goes like that. What if I tried a long slide? Let's see a long slide, you see? So it's about not only practicing your shot, but just working out all these mechanics, going through and just applying them together. That's the one, I would say, only way to improve effectively is just by playing the game and literally just practicing stuff. Practicing. One thing I learned from Sib, I was watching Sib, right? It's not about him specifically, but it's just a good example. Like, he was saying like how he wants to be the flex with the best shot in the game and the best movement. And as he was saying this, he was shooting like 500 bots. So it's like, he's not just saying this, he's actually putting the work. People look at the pros and look at their talent and look at their shot and say, oh, that must be nice, you know, good shot. But it's like, bro, Call of Duty is like anything else. Like, the more time you put in to effectively train, the better you'll become. There's no way you're going to shoot 200 bots and then be worse than when you started. So I'm coming from, it's always going to give you marginal gains. And just be very, very critical with yourself. What are you doing well? What could you do better at? And just be like, right, be honest with yourself. Like, this is why my shot isn't this level, is because I never drop shot. Okay, do this. Like, just learn from yourself. YouTube. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, a bit of an in-depth guide on just how to control recoil and improve your shot overall. If you guys have any more specific topics you guys want me to cover before Black Ops 6, let me know. With Black Ops 6, a lot of these skills are transferable, a lot of them. So things you learn now, we'll be able to go through and use them in Black Ops 6. So let me know down in the comments, and I'll catch you guys for another video tomorrow. Peace.